Hey, hello and welcome to this new After Effects tutorial by Flowmotion. Today we're going to take a look on how to create those really nice, organic, dynamic, wiggly, bouncy title animations like I did in my last example here. This is a basic keyframe animation of some letters, but I used a plugin for that, which makes the whole animation process so easy. And there's also a free version of this plugin out there, so very interesting. Let me show you. You can go to aescripts.com and search for squash and stretch, and there you'll find it. Basically what this does, it has some pre-made animations for animate in, out, and so on. And as I told you, there's also the free version, which simply doesn't include all animations and also sound effects that come with it. Let's directly get started with setting this up. Creating a new composition. Call this our main comp, 1920 by 1080, which is full HD, it's fine. We don't need it like 30 seconds, let's make it like 16 seconds, 25 frames, okay. Let's create a background layer and we go for something like this. And just for the look of it, let's add maybe a vignette, or maybe even go as crazy as adding letterboxes to it. And here are two ways you can do it. For the vignette, you can simply use a vignette and then just tweak it. Call this layer BG, and I can show you the way that I am doing letterboxes. I have always two different black solids. Set the transfer mode to alpha inverted, and I can go to the top layer and just letterbox how I want to have it. So let's go for this kind of look this time. And let's create our text and type in intro. Maybe just give it a dark purple color so that we're in the same color scheme here. Go to align, center this, bring it below our letterboxes, and there we are. Now we can start with the fun part, and this is really fun. And if you're having as much fun as I have with animating and you learn a little bit, just feel free to subscribe to my channel, because the more subscriptions, the more clicks I get, the more often I can do those kinds of tutorials, and there we have a win-win scenario. So let's get started. We need to bring out our plugin, and once it's installed, it's super easy. Just go to Window, Extensions, and there you have Squash and Stretch. As I told you, I've installed the Pro version, but you could also load the standard free version. This is already it. Now let's get started. Of course, I want to have all the letters separately animated, and therefore I'm just bringing this down a bit, because many of those animations I want to drop in from the top there. So let's just center this in a way that complements the animation. So as I told you, I can also split all the layers. I can keep the original layer or directly delete it, and I can split into words, lines, and so on. I want to split it in different characters, so I click apply. Can hide the original text, and here I have it, intro in different layers. So let's start with the E. So this is my workflow. I click on the behavior gallery, and let's just look at the core bundle here, and I want to have it animate in, so I go to the in section, and there are some of the nice drops, like a standard drop, or this one where it kind of pops to the side. So let's just take this one. I want to have it at the end of the behavior. Can go through some of the sound effects here. I think I'll go with the rubber 2 one and hit apply. Pretty nice. So my workflow is normally to take the letter and the sound effects and just give it a color. Let's make it yellow. So later on we still see which sound effect belongs to which color. Next thing I do is I take all the sounds, go to toggle switches and click the shy button. And also for the whole composition. In that way they are hidden, but I can always get them back here. Perfect. Now let's go to the next letter. And what I like with animations, not do it in a order, but very random. Next one is our R. So what can we do with the R? While I'm looking at it, it looks almost like a square. So let's look for some behavior where this comes in handy. Like this kind of throw with rotation. And this time let's go down with the squash and stretch. And also with the oomph, which is kind of the basic animation strength. So you see this time it slides way less. Like a few centimeters here on my display. And if I go up with it, it slides almost quarter of the display here. So I'm going down with this. Again, choose a nice sound. Select the layer and hit apply. Again, it asks me to pre-compose and I can click on don't show this again. And we are done with this one. Let's just move all of this a bit over. Once again, setting up colors. So let's do the same thing for the next letters, and I think I'm going to skip this a little bit and then I'm back with a few tips on how to create a final look. Okay, now I have animated all of them, as I have color coded all of those. I would now rearrange them so that they don't interact that much. For example, the N and the T, I don't quite like what happens here. So let's see if I can just move the N. Also the I. And also maybe the O just slightly. This is already looking nice, and this is kind of the basic animation that I want. I can set up motion blur for the layers. I'm just typing B for beginning and N for end, and now I can right click in here, trim comp to work area. Now I only have the part that I want to work with. Okay, now let's create a nicer look of this. First thing, let's pre-compose our whole animation. So therefore I'm taking the letters and the sounds, call this animation, hit OK, and there we have it. Now let's start adding some effects to make this look nicer. Now when I watch this, I think maybe the layers could maybe get a kind of a different color. So let's tint this. And this is already everything you need to do to get this animation look really nice and organic, and it's super quick and super easy. So if you liked what you've seen so far, just follow me to part 2 of this tutorial, where I do some fine tweaks, add in shadows, reflections, and all that stuff that brings this to another level. And also, if you like it, why not subscribe to my channel? Because the more subscribers, the more likes, the more clicks, the more tutorials I can do for you. And this is basically what I love to do, and if you want to watch, just click on that subscribe button, and we see us in part 2 of this tutorial.